You've been feeding your garden and somehow it keeps looking worse. The leaves are yellowing, the stems are weak, and you can't figure out why because you are fertilizing. Here's the truth nobody tells you: fertilizer doesn't just feed your plants. In the wrong hands, it quietly destroys them. And the scariest part? Most gardeners are making at least 3 of these 7 mistakes right now without even knowing it. Stay with me till the end because mistake number 4 is the one that shocks people the most. Welcome back to Earthly Gardening, the place where we keep your garden thriving without draining your wallet. If you're new here, so glad you found us. This channel is built for real gardeners who want real results on a real budget. And to those of you who've been here, you already know we don't do fluff. Hit that subscribe button right now and tap the bell so you never miss a video, because what we share here, you won't find it packaged this way anywhere else. Now let's get into it. Let's start with something that will completely change the way you look at fertilizer forever. Most people think fertilizer is plant food. It's not. Not exactly. Think of it more like medicine. The right dose at the right time heals and strengthens. The wrong dose at the wrong time? It does the opposite. And just like medicine, more is never automatically better. Now here are the 7 mistakes quietly working against everything you're trying to build in that garden. Mistake 1: fertilizing a thirsty plant. This one sounds so simple that most people skip right past it, but it is quietly damaging gardens every single day without gardeners even realizing it. When soil is bone dry and fertilizer gets poured directly onto it, the nutrients do not spread evenly through the root zone the way people imagine. They hit the roots in one concentrated burst, creating what gardeners call fertilizer burn. But the real problem goes deeper than the name suggests. Most fertilizers contain salts, and when those salts become too concentrated, they actually pull moisture out of the roots instead of helping the plant absorb water. The plant starts stressing from the inside out, even though you were trying to help it grow. That is why plants sometimes look worse a day or 2 after feeding. Yellow edges, drooping leaves, brown tips, and stalled growth are often not signs of hunger at all. They are signs the roots got overwhelmed. The fix is almost embarrassingly easy. Water the plant thoroughly first so the soil is evenly moist. Give it about 30 minutes to soak in, then apply your fertilizer. Moist soil helps distribute nutrients gently through the root zone instead of dumping them into one harsh concentrated pocket. The roots can absorb what they need slowly and safely, and the plant responds with healthy growth instead of stress. Dry soil plus fertilizer equals damage. Wet soil plus fertilizer equals growth. It is one of the simplest habits you can change, but it makes a massive difference in how your plants respond. Mistake 2: using the same fertilizer for every single plant. Walk into any garden store and you'll see rows and rows of fertilizers. There's a reason for that. Not every plant speaks the same nutritional language. A tomato plant is basically a hungry teenager. It needs heavy feeding, lots of phosphorus for fruiting, calcium to prevent blossom end rot, and consistent nitrogen to keep that vine climbing. Now take that same fertilizer and pour it on your lavender or your succulents and watch what happens. Those plants prefer lean, almost poor soil. They don't want all that richness. It overwhelms their system and they start to decline. Leafy greens love nitrogen. Flowering plants want more phosphorus. Root vegetables are big on potassium. Herbs in general want very little of everything. Before you fertilize anything, spend 60 seconds looking up what that specific plant actually needs. That one habit will save you more plants than any product ever will. Mistake 3: fertilizing on a schedule instead of on observation. Here's where a lot of well-meaning gardeners go completely wrong. They set a reminder every 2 weeks like clockwork, and they fertilize whether the plant needs it or not. Your plant doesn't care about your calendar. It cares about what's happening in its soil, in the weather, and in its own growth cycle. During a heat wave, most plants slow their growth down to survive. They are not actively feeding. Pouring fertilizer into stressed, Heat-baked soil during that period is like forcing someone to eat a huge meal when they have a fever. The body can't process it and it causes more harm than good. Same thing in winter. Most plants go into a resting phase. Their roots slow down. Their metabolism drops. Fertilizing a dormant plant is essentially fertilizing the soil for nothing except potential salt buildup that will haunt you come spring. Watch your plants. New leaves pushing out means the plant is in an active growth phase and ready to eat. Pale or yellowing leaves in the middle of spring might mean it's hungry. Dark green, lush, vigorous growth might mean it's completely satisfied and needs nothing from you right now. Let the plant tell you when. Not the calendar. Mistake 4, thinking more fertilizer means more growth. This is the one that gets people every single time. You fertilize once and the plant looks better. So naturally your brain says, if a little helped, a lot will help even more. That logic works for sleep. It does not work for fertilizer. Over-fertilizing is actually one of the leading causes of plant death among home gardeners, and most of them never figure out that's what happened. They think it was a pest problem or disease or bad weather. But underneath it all, the roots are sitting in a soil so loaded with salts and mineral buildup that water can no longer move through properly. The signs are there if you know what to look for. Leaf tips turning brown and crispy. A white crusty film forming on top of the soil. Leaves curling inward even though the plant has been watered. Growth that suddenly slows or stops completely despite feeding. If you've already over-fertilized, don't panic. Flush the soil with deep, slow watering for several days. This pushes excess salts down and out through the drainage holes. Pull back on all fertilizing for at least 4 to 6 weeks and let the plant recover on its own timeline. Less given consistently will always outperform too much given at once. Mistake 5, ignoring your soil before you fertilize anything. This is the mistake that makes everything else worse. Imagine you're about to paint a wall. You wouldn't just throw paint on without checking what's already there, right? You'd look at the surface, see what needs patching, maybe prime it first. Fertilizing without testing your soil is exactly like painting a cracked wall and wondering why it still looks bad. Your soil might already be rich in nitrogen. Adding more means you're now dealing with an excess you didn't need and your plant is showing toxicity symptoms you're misreading as deficiency. Or your soil might be so acidic that no matter what fertilizer you pour in, the nutrients lock themselves out and the roots literally cannot absorb them. pH is the invisible gatekeeper of fertilizer. Most nutrients are only available to plants when the soil sits between 6.0 and 7.0 on the pH scale. Outside that range, you can fertilize endlessly and see almost nothing. Soil test kits are inexpensive, widely available, and will give you more useful information than any YouTube video ever could because they'll tell you exactly what your soil in your garden is missing. That knowledge turns every fertilizer decision from a guess into a plan. Mistake 6, applying fertilizer at the wrong time of day. This one is underrated and barely talked about, but it matters more than most people realize. Fertilizing in the middle of a hot afternoon, especially with liquid fertilizers, creates several problems at once. The intense sun heats the soil surface so quickly that moisture begins evaporating before the roots can properly absorb the nutrients. A good portion of what you just applied can literally disappear into the air instead of feeding the plant. And when fertilizer sits in hot soil at high concentration, it can stress or even damage delicate root systems rather than helping them grow. Liquid fertilizers are especially risky during peak heat because any splash that lands on leaves acts almost like a magnifying layer under direct sunlight. Within just a few hours, you may notice brown spots, scorched edges, or faded patches on the foliage. Many gardeners assume the plant is diseased when in reality it was simply fertilized at the wrong time of day. Morning is by far the safest and most effective time to fertilize. The soil is still cool from the night, moisture levels are higher, and the plant is entering its most active growth period. That gives the nutrients time to soak deeply into the ground before the heat of the day arrives. Evening can work well too, especially during hotter months, because temperatures are falling and moisture stays in the soil much longer. The roots can then absorb nutrients slowly and steadily overnight without the stress of intense sun. It seems like a small detail, but timing changes everything. No extra fertilizer, no extra money, no special products, just applying it at the right time can make the nutrients work far more efficiently and keep your plants healthier at the same time. Mistake 7. Not understanding the difference between fast-release and slow-release fertilizer. This is the final mistake and honestly one of the most important ones. Fast-release fertilizers, also called water-soluble fertilizers, hit your plant quickly. You'll often see a response within days. They're great when a plant is showing signs of deficiency and needs help fast. But they wash out of the soil just as quickly, especially with regular watering or rainfall. That means you're reapplying frequently, spending more money, and creating a cycle where the plant becomes almost dependent on constant feeding. Slow-release fertilizers, usually in granule or pellet form, break down gradually over weeks or months. They're steadier, more forgiving if you apply slightly too much, and they build a more consistent nutritional foundation in the soil. They're better for long-term garden health and much more budget-friendly over a full growing season. The smartest approach many experienced gardeners use is a combination of both. Slow-release granules worked into the soil at the beginning of the season to create a base, with occasional liquid feeding during peak growth periods when the plant needs a quick top-up. Knowing which tool to reach for and when is what separates a gardener who struggles every season from one whose garden seems to thrive almost effortlessly. Here's what I want you to take away from all of this. Fertilizing isn't just a task you check off a list. It's a conversation between you and your garden. When you learn to listen, the results stop being random and start feeling almost predictable in the best possible way. If this video gave you something useful, do me a favor right now and hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more gardeners who need exactly this kind of information. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these 7 mistakes surprised you the most. I read every single one. And if you're not subscribed yet, now is a really good time because we drop videos regularly that are built to help your garden win without costing you a fortune. I'll see you in the next one.